Welcome everybody back to Fire Talk. Got the second midday stream of the week. Very odd for us to do this, but like I said before, the schedules are weird right now. So we're gonna put some videos out and stuff, but I figured probably better to just talk about this Red series, talk about this Yankee series. Obviously, Red series pretty awesome. I think when you're looking at like the fact they won that last game, that was huge. But then you look at this Yankee series, and dude, this is going to be a sweet one. The starting pitching in this one is awesome. I don't know if there's any other like marquee series of the weekend, but I feel like this is probably got to be it. Obviously tonight you got Darvish versus Rodon. On Saturday you're going to have Dylan Cease versus Marcus Stroman, and then on Sunday you're going to have Joe Musgrove against Schmidt, who's been good this year. Clark Schmidt. He's not like a crazy pitcher, but he has a 2.25 ERA in 10 games. I mean, that's pretty damn good. So you got some good arms on the mound in this one, and then kind of going back, taking a step back, and we'll get more into the Yankee series and kind of all the stuff with that in a little bit here. But dude, Chase, the Padres look pretty damn good against the Reds. That last game, it was a little bit like frustrating because you're watching the game, and one Luis Ariz was absolutely insane. He's been incredible so far for the Padres, but he starts out 3 for 3, then 3 for 4, and you had 4 runs, and two of them came in each of the first innings on the bump day. And then the Padres don't really do much, and then De Los Santos gets kind of rocked a little bit, and it's a 4-4 game, and you're like, dude, this team better not choke this game. Jeremiah, he comes in, he's been insane. We'll definitely talk about him a little bit more here, but he was ridiculous. And then they come out in the 10th. Arise, another one. He kind of has that little bunt single to start it off. And then Fernando, who's been in one of the worst slumps we've ever seen him in, rips a double down the line. Big hit for him. And that ends up being the game-winning hit. So even though Fernando comes up 0 for 4, he has the hit that wins them the game. And the Padres were going to score. They hadn't scored in 7 innings. So it was huge to kind of see them come away with that one. Obviously, they got shut out back-to-back against Sale, and then they got shut out on Tuesday against the Reds. But you win 2-3 against the Reds on the road. And also, if you remember last year, dude, when they went to Cincinnati, it looked like, oh god, like that. I remember that series being almost like a turning point because they lost the game in extras. This was last year, and it was like, dude, this team is unable to win any time when they get into crunch time. And that was like almost the turning point of like, dude, they're not gonna flip the switch. Like it really felt like that. And this year you see them come away and they take that bump day. And I think that's been the difference. Has this team been insane or super good this year? No, but they're sitting a game over 500. And I think the big thing, I was kind of messing around with the standings earlier, just kind of looking at them. And I'll let you talk in a second, Chase. I'm just kind of going, breaking it all down. But I was looking at like, okay, well, what about the Padres when they're playing teams over 500? They're 14-10. If you don't get swept by the Rockies, and I know, yeah, you can't really say that, but if you don't get swept by the Rockies, hey, like you're going to be feeling a lot better. If you even take one of those games, you're a couple games over 500, right? It feels better. But either way, you've played a very hard schedule. You're 14-10 against teams over 500. Let's look at the two teams beneath you in the division and also in the wild card race, the Giants and the Diamondbacks. The Giants are 6-14 against teams over 500, and the Diamondbacks are 8-16. You're playing better ball. The rest of the season, you've played the harder parts of the schedule after this series. It's going to be a lot easier. You're going to play the Dodgers some more. You're going to play some other teams that are in a wild card race. But for the most part, you're going to have kind of a lighter stretch right here. And then towards the end of the season, another lighter stretch. So it's going to come down to, hey, man, can you beat these crappy teams? And I think that's where we're seeing the Padres have a lot more fight this year. I don't know if that's how you're feeling, but what do you think, man? How you feeling about this team? It's been a little bit, Chase, since you've been on, so.
You kind of summed it up. I was kind of nervous for this Red series. So I was like, fuck. We played some really solid teams. We beat the Dodgers. We get swept by the Braves, and then we played Atlanta really well. And then I looked at it. I go, I feel a red sweep coming, just because anytime we go and play a really good team really well, we just get hung over through the next series, and it's usually against a team that's below 500. I believe the Reds are still last in their division. I was just like, you know what? The Padres play to the level of their opponents, and we're gonna play, and we're not gonna be good. And then we get shut out the first game, and I'm like, well, yep. Here's the roller coaster of emotions all over again. Then we come back and win the next two, and it's great. I mean, this is where the Padres usually struggle. It's like, okay, we can do really good against really good teams, but against crappy teams, we kind of just fall flat, and it sucks. It's the reason that we aren't like a for sure shot in any of the wild cards or into playoffs. It's because we lose the games we should win and win the games that we shouldn't. That's kind of been the Padres' philosophy for the last couple of years. It's like, okay, well, we have the Dodgers, all their aces are on the mound. We got maybe our 3, 4, 5 guys up. Okay, we won 2 out of 3. Okay, we got our aces against the Rockies. Let's see what we do. Oh, we got swept by the Rockies. What is going on? It's just kind of been the story of our lives as Padres fans. It doesn't make any sense, and it's what happens. But if we can continue to do this, man, hey, the Padres, like you said, what, are 14-10 against teams that are over 500. That is a great record to have, considering you played the Dodgers, the Braves, and a couple other really strong teams. And like you said, you saw that fight with the Reds. Like, hey, you know what? Fernando Tatis didn't have his yesterday, but he still managed to come in clutch when it mattered. He got the double in the 10th inning, and it helped us win. That's exactly what we needed. And get a round of applause for Luis Arias, because holy crap, that guy has been such a huge part of this team since the trade. I remember seeing a stat. He was hitting 299 before he got to the Padres, and he's hitting like 330 something now. That is insane. Like, that's a 40 point jump in batting average. That is insane. And just having him as leadoff or just hitting with any guys in scoring position, it makes it so much more fun to watch, because you're like, okay, yeah, you know what? He may not hit this guy in, but he's for sure getting on base and moving the runner over. And even if there's a guy on second and he's fast enough, yeah, he'd hit with a ton of power. But if he can just poke it into the outfield, that guy on second scoring almost every single time. All the Padres are really quick. So it's like every single time that guy's scoring. And then I knew Jurickson Profar was having a good year. And then I remember just seeing his stats on the TV the other night. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy has a 940 OPS. He's hitting nearly 300. What the hell? Bro. MVP over here. MVP.
Profar is hitting 337, Chase. 337 right now.
Oh,
that's insane.
God. His OPS is over 900 too, I know.
Yeah, 942 right now.
Yeah. Dude, that's that. And we're paying him what? $1 million, $2 million?
I think it's let's see. I think it's a million. It's like, yeah. I mean, I saw a thing like it was like the biggest bargains in baseball, and like Jurickson Profar, I think it was on like Bleacher Report or something, and Jurickson Profar was like on the picture of the article. You know, like, yeah, this is pretty crazy. Yep, $1 million.
Hey, you know what? When he is here, the vibes are right, and when the vibes are right, he's a baller. I don't know what else to say. Dude, Profar, Arias. I know Merrill's slumping a little bit, but he's still high batting average. He's not hitting the ball hard, but he's getting on base. He's still providing defense. He's doing pretty well too. Like, the whole team has just had resurgences everywhere. Yes, Tatis and Machado have been struggling, but Cronenworth has had a comeback year. That's been great. Kim is starting to come around a little bit more. I know he's had a little bit of glimpses there. Profar has been huge. Campy's been pretty solid. He's kind of still struggling. Manny's starting to come around a little bit more, but when you have Profar and Luis Arias, man, it kind of takes the burden off of everybody a little bit more. It's insane what those two guys are doing. It kind of makes you think, what happens if we had Arias a couple years ago when we originally wanted to trade for him?
Dude, it's true. I mean, that was what, like 2 years ago when it was getting like rumored for him, right? Like, I think 2 seasons ago, it was like, I know it was like in the offseason, but there's also some rumors during the actual season too. So yeah, dude, I mean, it's been good for the most part. Obviously, like, there's some question marks starting pitching wise. Like, there's a lot of different stuff, but you know, even when you're looking at this year, so I wanted to see right now. I know everyone hates batting average now, which I honestly think is kind of stupid. Like, I think there's too much drawback from like Moneyball that like batting average didn't matter. I don't know how you feel, but I think like the idea that like a walk's as good as a hit is kind of dumb, because it's like a lot of times like when you're drawing walks, it's like, yeah, because the pitcher can't find the strike zone, so you're just taking pitches. Like we've seen the Padres in those spots. Now, is slugging important? Yes, slugging is super important. But right now, Padres aren't a great slugging team, right? They don't hit for a ton of power. However, they're third as a team. They're third in the league in average. That could go up because now we have the best average hitter in the sport that's tearing the cover off the baseball. And Manny's getting hot, and Fernando's been slumping, but Fernando's his advanced metrics tell you like, hey, dude, he's gonna be all right. He needs to barrel the ball more. That's what they really are trying to. That's what it really shows you. And then slugging wise, they're 12th in the league. That's not like for a team that doesn't have a lot of pop and doesn't have a lot of power guys. If you're slugging 12th in the league, that's not that bad. Now, do you want to see more power? Do you want to see more home runs from some of these guys? 100%. But you're not going to have everything perfect, especially like this far into the year. We're a little over 50 games in. There's over 100 games left to play. But the fact that their average is third in the league, that's a lot of the reason why they've been good. You need to kind of see them just you need to kind of see them like drive guys in a little bit more, because a lot of times like when they've lost games, it's because they're not driving guys in enough. But we're starting to see these clutch hits from Manny, because that's who it's really going to come down to. Is Manny going to have these clutch hits? Last game, I know it's the first inning, but 2 guys on, he hits a double. So that goes a long way, I feel like. And so yeah, I feel like that's been the biggest thing. Starting pitching, stay healthy. Musgrove, I know he didn't get to win, but he looked all right. I think he'll be okay. I think everyone was freaking out a lot. I don't think he's like washed. I don't think that's like, I tweeted that out a while, like, is Joe Musgrove washed? I just want to see what people thought. And everyone was like, yeah, he's washed. He's a little banged up. I think that's more of what it is. Had a little IL stint. Hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he's all right. He's really struggling with location. That was the biggest thing, but it wasn't like it wasn't like his velo was off or like stuff like that. He was okay. So yeah. Also, this was an amazing stat. Let me find it right here. I don't know if you saw this in the chat, Chase. This is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Fun stat. Arise has more hits in his last 8 at-bats than Higgy has all year. That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, when we're kind of looking at this squad, I mean, that's why what?
Campy's nice to have. Campy's nice to have. Yes, he has below 700 OPS. It's barely below 700, but he's still hitting like 260. At least he hits the ball. He might not be hitting the ball hard right now, but he hits the ball, and that's important.
I mean, also, dude, in one of those Dodgers games, on that Friday Dodger game, Campy was the whole offense, because Campy came up, he had a home run, and he had a double, and then he got taken out for a pinch runner, and then Arias hit him in for the win. Like, he was the whole offense. And there's the slug. He also had a home run the other day. But the other thing, too, I think that is important is, like, we're talking about this average hitting, right? We're also talking about Petco Park, which is, like, as it gets warmer, it's going to get easier to hit balls out. That's also something I think we all need to realize, too. Like, and if you look at a lot of these guys, especially power hitters, early on in the year, they seem to not be able to drive the ball quite as far. That should go up as it goes on. And that's why a lot of times, like, you see these balls that are just absolutely demolished. They're usually in day games. Yeah, they're dying too. But usually the ones that you see that are just smoked, they're in day games right now, especially early on in the season. So yeah, but okay, this is a big thing, Chase. I want to see. I don't know if you saw all this stuff about it. Justin asked, "Will Soto get a round of applause?" Have you seen this whole thing, the discourse on this?
I've been really busy with work. School's finally over, so I can pay attention to baseball more. But man, that last month of school, woo, these children, but love them all. I haven't really been able to like be on Twitter and be like, oh my God, see all the baseball debates within the Padres community. But I don't think he's going to get a round of applause, but he definitely shouldn't get booed. That's my opinion. He had an insane year for us, and he did a lot. And we traded him. He didn't ask for the trade. He really liked San Diego. Would we have been able to extend him? Probably not. If he left on his own accord, then maybe, yeah, you can boo him for leaving San Diego, even though we were never going to be able to pay him his money. But it's completely fine. Like, some people are going to cheer for him. Yeah, you can. Just don't boo the guy. He didn't leave because he wanted to. He got traded because the Padres needed to trade him because they couldn't pay him the money. It's not his fault. He would have stayed the extra year. He's always talking about how much he loves San Diego.
That's the thing, dude. And people are like, this is the part that I don't get. Like, I guess you can see like mannerisms and stuff, but this part always is like confusing to me. It's like, okay, people are like, oh no, we need to boo him because he's a real selfish guy, dude. You don't know him. First of all, you don't know him. And second of all, even if he is, it's like, guys, not, and I'm not trying to talk shit on guys, but like, you realize the guys you root for, right? Like you realize that there's some of the hottest heads in the sport on this team currently. So I don't really get that argument. Like, yeah, dude, they're pro athletes. A lot of the guys are hotheads, like, of course. So I don't really think that makes any sense. And also, like you said, dude, he's never like been like bashing San Diego. Like, there's nothing like that where it's like, oh, this and this. Like, he's not doing that. So I don't really understand the booing it either. If you don't want to give him a standing O, that's fine. But he's like, I don't know, like, and maybe like it's not like he's not your favorite dude in the world. He also hit 35 bombs, had an over 900 OPS, and drove in over 100 guys last year. And it seems like the majority of Padre fans seem to think that he was a failure for the Padres when he posted a top 10 season in the sport. That's a great way to do it. That's a great comment right there. Also, people always talking about, oh yeah, he wasn't clutch. Dude, he had the most, like, one of the craziest clutch hits. Him and Cronenworth had the 2 clutch hits to be like in the Dodgers series. So I don't get it, dude. I don't get the booing. So I don't really know. I don't know why you would boo Soto. Also, like, on another side, like, he's been ridiculous for the Yankees. And for this series too, forgetting the kind of, well, I guess you're not really forgetting the Soto stuff, but forgetting the Soto returning the San Diego stuff. Dude, this Yankee team is on fire. Have you seen all of the home runs? It's like home run, home run, home run. And so both Judge and Soto have been absolutely on fire. This is gonna be a really fun series, I think, because the pitching is so good on both sides, but also like the Yankees offense is really hot. The Padres, I would say the Padres offense is pretty hot too. I know they've had a couple, like, they got shut out. I guess they got shut out twice this week, and I'm still saying their offense is pretty hot. We know it's pretty up and down, you know? But it's going to be fun, dude. It's going to be a cool series. It's been a long time. I saw someone tweeted out, like, I think it was like 2016, the last time the Yankees played in San Diego. So yeah, dude, I mean, it's going to be sweet. I think Darvish, how long until we start talking? I know Imanaga has, like, been insane, but Darvish is going to be in the Cy Young race. Are you feeling like that too? Even though, remember, Chase, his contract is a better contract.
Imanaga's stats.
Yeah, dude. And I went to the, yeah, how is it?
It's
is
still
he still
below
under
1
1?
ERA. It's 0.84.
Oh my god, he had another. Since it went to the, oh my god, dude. I went to the game on when the Padres played him, right? Then he has had 12 shutout innings since then with 15 strikeouts. Insane. Absolutely insane. So yeah, he's definitely like the heavy favorite, but Darvish has been like that good, like, especially lately. I mean, Darvish has he's had 25 straight scoreless innings, I think, still. I think that's where he's at. Cease has been getting, I saw this Cease question. What about do you think Cease will be 2? I think Cease is, like, he's slowing down a little bit, but he's still been great. You know, he had a couple whatever out. I mean, he's barely over a 3 ERA. He might have a sub 3 ERA. Like, that's still ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, also, yeah, this is a 10 caps hat. I haven't worn it in a while. I lost it for a little bit. But yeah, dude, I mean,
it's one of those things where, can Imanaga continue this? If Imanaga continues this, Darvish can catch up to him all he wants, but having a 0.84 ERA, let's say he continues that through like half the season, and then half the season it doubles. If he doubles an ERA, that's still a 1.68. That is insane to me. That's like Kershaw type. I remember when Kershaw was like 1 point something until like the very end of the season. It was like a 2.1, I think. He might have even carried the 1 all the way through. It is insane. God, I wanted him so bad. I wanted him so bad, dude. We need a lefty, and that would have been perfect. But anyway, shout out the bullpen. The bullpen has been crazy. Jeremiah has been doing his thing. I know someone out earlier mentioned him, saying he was repping PD. Dude, he's been that guy. It's also why we've been begging for him to come up to the big leagues. We know he's got the stuff. Very happy he's on the team. It's kind of nice to see him starting to like actually get put into some big time situations where, hey, he had the ninth inning. He's closed out a couple games. It's nice to see him get put into the high leverage situations where it's kind of nice where you have a little bit of variety. You can throw Bobby Gass in there, or you can throw Jeremiah. Either or works for me at this point. Morton Hones had a good year. Yuki Matsui's he's struggled a little bit, but he's still really good. Who else has been outstanding? Brito's had a little bit more success. Enio de los Santos has done his thing. Can we send Kolek out of here, please, and bring up another guy? Wandy Peralta's been good. Like, I get why they want to keep Steven Kolek. I really just think we could use that spot to benefit us a little bit more. Not a lot of, above 500 teams are going to carry a Rule 5 guy that gets lit up occasionally. When we have some guys in the minor leagues that deserve a chance. Sorry, Kolek. I get it, but I'd say that's our whole team is pretty solid. And if we wanted to make like a pretty serious move, bring up another guy and send Kolek now.
So I wanted to bring another guy that I think actually could end up being someone that comes up. Adam Mazur. You say is how you pronounce it, right? Mazur?
Is it Muzar or Mazur? Or no, it's Mazur. Yeah, it's Mazur.
I think it's Mazur, yeah. I think that's how you say it. But have you seen his numbers, dude? Because he just went up to AAA
it's
recently.
kind of filthy.
Dude, and we've been talking about like, okay, well, the fifth starter. I saw him pop up in an article today that was like, he's like the most likely guy to get traded from the Padres because they don't want to trade their other guys. But I was thinking like, dude, why would you want to trade that guy if he could potentially be your fifth starter? So he started 6 games in Double-A. He had a 1.95 ERA, 32 innings, only allowed 7 runs, 202 average, 32 strikeouts. So he had basically, a strikeout every inning. And then he went to AAA, and his ERA is a 5.37, 11 innings. He allowed 13 hits, 7 runs, 2 bombs, 7 strikeouts in 11 innings. But keep in mind, guys, when you see like a 5 ERA in the minors, you're usually like, oh, that's not good. Not a good sign. Dude, a 5 ERA in El Paso is like actually like above average. And I want to see if they're home games too, because I think that actually matters. But it's interesting, dude, because he's a guy that you could actually see come up. You think so too, right? Okay, they're both away games, so not the best. I mean, his first start was. He had 6 innings. It was a quality start, and then he got rocked a little bit. But still, dude, like if he's there, like you could potentially see him come up. And I don't think they feel forced to bring him up, but he's the next guy that we're gonna see like called up, I think, pitching wise, and he's earning that spot. He did really well in Double-A, and we've talked about this a lot too. Like going from Double-A to Triple-A, like I think that it's more like. I don't think it really matters that much. I also don't think that his numbers in AAA are going to be like, I think people are going to care that much. Like, I feel like AA numbers end up being more, especially for pitching, especially in our system, are more like, okay, that's where this guy, how well he's playing in the minors. I don't know if you feel like that, but whenever like you look at these guys' numbers in AAA, it's like, okay, they always suck every single time. It's like these are horrible numbers, and that's just kind of the reality of the way that it's set up. But dude, I think that he's like the next guy that you could potentially call up. You're talking about some arms, like just bullpen wise. If you're looking at it from like, I know De Los Santos just kind of choked the game yesterday, but like, okay, he's under a 4 ERA. Matsui 3.3, Wandy Peralta 3 ERA, Kolek 4.4, Robert Suarez 0.4, Johnny Brito 3.9. He's under a 4. Tom Cosgrove, he had a 10, right? Morahone 2.2. Morahone's been awesome, and that's huge to see.
Morahone's been awesome.
Yeah. Jeremiah 0.66. Who else we got here? Randy Vasquez. I mean, he's been starting, but like 5.8. Like so like these guys, these bullpen arms, like you basically have one guy that's consistently pitching that has an ERA over 4, and that's Kolek, and even that's not like that bad. So, dude, The bullpen, you're right. It's been really good. And I think it's also easy to like watch games, especially in baseball. I'd be like, oh, the bullpen blew it. But it's like, yeah, but you're not getting any insurance runs. And so we've seen that a couple times, but it's also like when you look at those games, you're like, okay, well, they didn't come back. That's why this last game yesterday was like, all right, dude, you didn't get the insurance runs, and the bullpen kind of blew the game or whatever, but you ended up having the big time hits and you had your 1-2 punch out of the pen and Jeremiah and Suarez ball out, and they did their part. So it's been really cool to see. Also, you saw Jeremiah was on Pitching Ninja. I know you would like that because Pitching Ninja's sick. Just because the stuff on the fastball is like rated super high.
Oh, and yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I mean, I feel like. Oh, okay. So the reason why Cole would have to get DFA'd, he wouldn't get sent down.
Yeah, he's a Rule 5 guy. I knew that. It's just every time I watch him pitch, it frustrates me because I feel like every time I watch him pitch, it's the time he gets lit up, and I'm just like, can we not? No, please. And it reminds me of like this one right here. It's Craig Stammen. His job is to eat innings. It's not. I get you have to have that role. I'd rather not have to watch it. I get it. I understand it. It's just sometimes when he comes in the game, I think the last time I watched him, we were in the lead and then Kolek gave up like 4 runs. And I'm like, just pull him. For the love of God, pull him. And he let him just look. No.
Also, another thing here. I think this is important to bring up. Solano and Peralta.
Yeah.
Dude, they're good bench pieces. You got 2 platoon guys on the bench. That's ideal. And now that Bogarts is out, we haven't even talked about Bogarts being out. We can get to that in a second here. But now that he's out, it's like, okay, you have guys that you can bring in, and they're going to start a bunch of games. We've seen Solano do that. We've seen Peralta do that since he's been up the last couple of days. They both put up like stupidly good numbers, but it's probably going to go down. But still, like those are solid vet players that like we've seen around the league. Are they going to be good? No, but as like a role player, as like a bench piece, pretty solid bench piece, and especially if they're utilized correctly. Also, you've always been a pretty big fan of David Peralta, huh?
Yeah. Kind of watch him a little bit on the Diamondbacks because, he's literally 2 hours away. And he's always just done a good job. He may not be like the quickest guy in the outfield or have the best arm, but he gets on base. He's a veteran guy. He knows what his role is. He does it really well. He doesn't hit for the most power, but he can hit a gapper if he needs to. He doesn't swing for the fences. It's like you're run-of-the-mill guy. Like you need a guy that's going to hit. Like his career average is 280 and 785 OPS. You just need those guys sometimes. And he's a lefty bat, which is always nice.
What else are we thinking? Oh, Bogarts. So, do you know what the full extent of the upgrade is? Because it seemed like he was coming back way later this summer. And then they put him on the 10-day IL, which I was a little bit thrown off by. I want to see like what they have on MLB.com. It doesn't seem that clear because they're like,
it's a
he's kind of
older, right?
Yeah, and he's only on the 10-day IL.
Damage. There was no ligament damage, but even a fracture like that, it was in his throwing arm too, wasn't it? It was in his right shoulder.
No, it's the left. It's the left.
It was the left.
Yeah. But
I don't know. That's such a
because the first thing that I read. Sorry, go ahead.
I just don't see like your left shoulder is still really important to 1, fielding, and 2, hitting in general. And if she's having that right wrist injury and put the left shoulder injury on top of that, that's just you want him to sit out until he's fully healed. Like that shoulder needs to be like 100% before he comes out here. He's not like Nando, and plus he's in his 30s. He's not going to heal as quickly. Like Nando with his shoulder, he would dislocate it and then pop it back into place and be back 2 weeks later. This is a fractured shoulder we're talking about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't rush it. The team's been playing fine without him. You have really good depth in Peralta and Solano. Yeah, Cronenworth is not going to be playing as much first. You could honestly send Cronenworth over to short or move Kim to short Or no, my bad. You can throw Kim at second and throw Cronenworth at short. You can keep Cronenworth at second and Arias at first. You can mix that up any way you want. And then you just have Solano and Peralta being depth pieces and rest days. And they're going to DH quite a bit. And honestly, they're good DHs. They've been hitting the ball well. They're what should have been Matt Carpenter and Nelson Cruz last year. So I would say just let X rest. Rest is the best thing he can get right now. Don't rush him back. You're paying him a lot of money, and you don't want him to fuck up the rest of his career because you rushed him back in a shoulder injury when he already has a wrist problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing, dude. We've talked about it a decent amount, and it's been terrible. It's been a terrible start because these are supposed to be the years where you're supposed to get a lot out of him, and then it's he's gonna fall off towards the end, and it's okay, he's just not been good. And I know people are like, dude, but he had a lot of WAR last year. It's yeah, but he was also a liability in the lineup. He was one of the worst players with guys in scoring position, and he was playing shortstop, and he's a above average shortstop. He's not a great shortstop. He's an above average shortstop. But if you play shortstop, you accumulate WAR. That's why Trent Grisham always had pretty solid WAR. It's he's also the worst hitter. He's also the worst contact hitter in the whole sport. So it's that's why I don't you have to look at some of these numbers too, I think, and kind of all right, well, what does this mean? Let's look at the context of it. And that's one of those. But with him, dude, the other thing that sucks is we can rip on Xander Bogarts or whatever, but he was finally starting to heat up a little bit, dude. He had to, and it's only a weak sample size, but he had good numbers. He had a couple home runs, and it was all right, maybe he's starting to barely heat up a little bit, hitting the ball a little harder. Boom, shoulder. And you're dude, can we not? Can this dude not catch a break? Because that's also part of it, dude. And it seems like he hasn't had a lot of power. His at bats have been ugly, but he's a vet, so you're kind of hoping that he's gonna make some adjustments and figure it out. And then that's when he gets hurt. Yeah, it is frustrating, dude. And obviously we're rooting for all these guys to do well, but it was dude, why is this the time? Because it and I get it wasn't a long time that he was looking better, but it's at least he was finally showing out some life, and it was oh, he's finally showing some life. Hurt, dude, come on. So yeah, I think in terms of the lineup and stuff, I think that's what you're gonna see yesterday's lineup. That's kind of the situation. Where you're going to rotate DH, Fernando was DHing. You're going to see Manny DH a little bit. You're going to have everyone kind of rotating in and out. Profar DH the other day, I want to say. So you're gonna see a lot of that, and then you're going to see basically a platoon of Peralta or Solano, and they're going to probably be your bench guys. They're going to be in a decent amount. Azokar will be doing that. Azokar also always comes into the game as a defensive replacement or a pinch runner or something. Sometimes Tyler Wade comes in as a pinch runner too. You're going to see all those kind of there's similar stuff we've seen. And I think Arias at first base is ideal. He's a bad second baseman. Maybe he's bad at first base too, but it's not the same thing. He's a horrible second baseman though. Might as well put him at first. You have Cron at second, so that's good. But yeah, dude, I think
X getting hurt would have made this team a lot worse if Arias wasn't there, or even if we didn't sign Solano and Solano just didn't work out and it ended up being Nelson Cruz of last year. But this team actually has a lot of depth now because of Orion, because of Solano, and it just fits a lot better. Hey, I would still ask for Brandon Belt right now. Don't tempt me.
I was gonna, dude. I saw that, and I was gonna bring it up, and I saw this comment of don't bring up Belt, dude. Belt can be your first base DH guy. I'm gonna keep saying that, man. Still, he's a lefty. Add more lefties. I'm fine with it. They could do it, dude. Maybe he's asking people.
Arias permanent DH, Brandon Belt, and Solano at first.
I mean, you also probably I don't know, dude. I think so. I see some people talking about Tatis. I don't think Tatis is hurt or anything. He's just kind of slumping. But I've seen a lot of people being this and that. I don't know if you saw this, Chase. He had his record exit velocity this season. The only thing his issue, go look at it. We can pull it up if you want, but his issue is he's not barreling the baseball. That's his issue. His issue isn't that he's not tearing the cover off the baseball. He is, but His launch angle is all jacked up, and he's not barreling the baseball. That's what it's coming down to. Also, I don't know if you've noticed this, dude. They've been throwing inside. I mean, I'm sure you have, but they've been throwing inside on Tatis so much. They're really trying to not let him get extended, and it's been working. And eventually, you're going to see him kind of come in there, but like come around and like I don't know. I think he's going to be totally fine, honestly. But if he continues to struggle a little bit, we're definitely going to have like a full video about just Tatis. Like, all right, dude, this is the situation with Tatis. This is what we think, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, dude, yeah, exactly. Hitting everything in the ground. That's what we've seen. And it's like, he'll take a ball and he will smoke it. And he doesn't do whatever. It's more of that. That's the issue. And if you just look at the numbers like straight up, it's like, okay, well, yeah, this. But look at where his barrel rates are. They're like half of what they used to be. So that's going to affect that. All right, here's a fun one. Can we actually see Profar make the All-Star game this year? I said it earlier, dude. I don't know why everyone was hating on him for being a bust as a prospect. He was a late bloomer. That was all. He just needed a decade of seasoning in the pros, and then he was going to become that guy.
It's like a meat that you got to slow cook. It gets better with the longer it sits. Sometimes, you need that 16-hour smoke to make it taste a little bit better. It's a little bit tender, it falls off the bone a little bit better. And apparently Profar just needed that. He just needed to be stuck in the smoker just a little bit longer, and then he came out perfect.
So look at this. I'm about to pull up his savant right here. This man is insane. It's not like his numbers are like not like the expected stuff. Like, dude, 98th percentile on batting run value. That's crazy. This stuff has always been pretty good for him, but this is pretty crazy too. He has a good arm. We know that. He has no range, but he's playing left field at Petco. You don't really need that much range. He's been doing pretty good. This is pretty awesome. And watch this. Ready? I think it was Isaac and I when we were talking. We showed up his baseball savant a couple weeks back. Get ready for this, Chase. All right.
I don't want to see 2023, dude.
No, watch how you guys all taking how much red there is right here, because there's a polar opposite of last year. Get ready.
I like how the bottom stuff just stays red and it's just everything else is.
It's always good for him, but dude, look at that, dude. Yeah. That is crazy.
His bat speed is not even there.
I don't know if they were measuring that then. I think that's why.
I was going to say that's kind of weird. I feel like you should just take that out if you were measuring it in years before.
Yeah, let's see. Let's check like 21. Yeah, it's not even in there. They just added that feature this year. So, but yeah, dude, he's been awesome. I mean, he has a 940 OPS. Like he probably will make the All-Star game if he keeps that up. Also, the other thing that's funny is like he started out like that, like the first like couple weeks, or like I don't remember exactly how it was, but like he got to the 950 OPS, and I was like, oh man, look, Profar's playing like this, and it's been a little while now, but he's just kept it at the like exact same numbers. Like it's like went down to like 920 and then back up to 950, but it's like stayed in that range for a while now, and he plays every day, so it would be pretty hilarious if he made the All-Star game. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna need to see some stuff like that. Let's see what we got here.
Technically, JD's third. We're playing 509 baseball.
Huh?
He said, "I'll be positive when we play better than 500." And I said, "We're playing 509. That is better than 500. It may not be much better than 500, but it is better than 500."
So you have to be positive now, man. That's just the way it works. That's what you said. I don't know, dude. What else you got? What else we got here? May talk about this Yankees series. I mean, we kind of talked about it a little bit.
You want to talk about the rest of the division? And
yeah,
I think the Rockies.
Let's pull up the standings a little bit. Let's kind of look at it. I know it's early.
Before you do that,
yeah.
Guess who's the worst team in baseball in it? And it's not the Rockies.
A's, right?
Nope, it's not the A's either.
Oh, the White Sox?
Yep.
Yeah, they're horrible.
The White Sox are 15-36.
We play them soon, right?
I think so.
Or we eventually play them. All right. So check this out, guys. And this is why I think it's important. So some of these teams are starting to fall off a little bit. Pirates, Nationals, Mets, the Reds, they've all started to fall off a little bit. They don't look like very good teams. Cardinals, you know how the Cardinals are. They always hang around, but their roster is also like seriously lacking, and they've been really hot lately. You know, minus 43 run differential. I don't think they're that good. But really what's going to come down to for these wild card spots, and tell me if you think I'm wrong, Chase, but I think it's going to come down to a few teams. One, the Brewers. Look, they are leading the division, but they're like a
I have the
game or
Cubs
two.
in that division.
Yeah,
I
they're like a
definitely
game or two up on the Cubs right now. And the Cubs aren't even playing good baseball right now. They've been struggling. So the Cubs are a game above the Padres. Then you got the Giants and the Diamondbacks. And so I think it's going to be like, what is it? 3 of these 5 teams will make it. The Braves are going to make it. The Phillies are going to make it. The Dodgers are going to make it. We know that. But the Brewers, the Cubs, the Padres, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks. I think those are of those teams. 3 of the 5 will make it. But yeah, I mean, this thing though, dude, like these teams, they haven't
just have not been great this year. They've been struggling a lot.
The
Well,
who?
also Corbin Carroll has been struggling a lot too. That's a big part of that reason.
The Diamondbacks? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think
Do
this
you
is
think
the part
the Phillies are? Who do you have winning that division? The Phillies or the Braves?
I think right now it's probably going to be the Phillies too. The Phillies look like a significantly better team. The Phillies are good. Like, I think this is a better one, you know? Like
Yeah.
they're a better team this year. Like in the past years, like the Braves are more set up for the regular season, but the Phillies have better pitching. They have more pop. Their lineup's been better. The Braves are a pretty inconsistent team, so I think that they're probably going to win it. But either way, like you can kind of slate whoever's in this first wild card spot to be either the Braves or the Phillies, right? Like I mean, they're already way ahead. They're good. But like for some of these teams, dude, I think this is this is the big thing right here. And yes, we keep talking about the Padres need to beat the crappy teams. That's gonna be the difference of the season, especially because you've played a really tough schedule up to this point. 6-14 against teams over 500, 8-16, 9-11, 11-13. Like
We're also significantly better on the road. We're significantly better on the road.
But in past years, the Padres have been a better home team usually than they were on the road. This is like the first year where it's been like that, I feel like. So yeah, dude, I feel like it's like it's all up to like how this team plays and if they step up against the teams that aren't that great, you know? So that's kind of,
that's a really weird division right now. If you want to scroll down to the AL West.
Oh, here. How come? Oh, wow.
The AL West it's a shit show, right? I have the Mariners winning that division. I thought they would. They have a lot of pitching. They've had some good guys added to their offense. They're just a really well-rounded team. But you have the World Series champs sitting below 500. You have the Astros sitting below 500, and you have the A's as the second to worst team in that division.
That's so embarrassing for the Angels. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Trout's out, and they obviously lost their Ohtani, but Jesus,
they lost Ohtani.
That is a weird division. It's kind of float around here. This division is weird. Oh, the Blue Jays are going to be sellers. The Rays took a step back. I don't know why the Red Sox
the Rays took a step back, but they're still one game away from 500.
Yeah, 100%. I'm just saying, like, from past years, the AL is also a lot better than the NL. The Royals, maybe one of the most surprising
AL West is ridiculous.
Royals are a pretty surprising team. What do you say?
And so the AL West is just a ridiculous division.
Or East?
Oh, yeah, the East, my bad. The AL East is just a ridiculous division in general.
These two juggernauts right here. And then, Royals, Guardians, Twins are in the playoff spot here. Like, the AL looks like, Astros will probably come back into it. They were really crappy to start the year. They've been a lot better. Slowly, they've been coming back. I think they'll be fine. NL, dude, the NL is not that good. That's why the Padres don't have an excuse at all. Marlins, they made the playoffs last year. They're done. They're down and out. The Mets, not a good team. The Nationals, they're a year away. Cardinals, not that great. These teams are not good. Cubs and Brewers are solid, but honestly,
So I'm just gonna bring this up. One of Isaac and I's mutuals. We were talking about the Reds. the Reds in particular. He's like, yeah, dude, I had the Reds winning that division. I'm like, you are on crack, my guy. You said the Reds are going to be good. I'm like, they don't have pitching. They don't really have an offense. He's like, I just like the bats. I think they're a good team. I'm like, yeah, they're not that good. And, well, as you can see, the Reds are 20-30, which I didn't think the Brewers were going to be that good. I think I was going to have Brewers in like the third place. I thought it was going to be really between the Cardinals and Cubs for the division. The Brewers have played really, really, really well. Yelich has been playing well. Their pitching has been phenomenal. Shout out to them. The NL East, I think I had it Braves, Phillies, and then Mets, which the Nationals have been really good on the account of, Gore and Abrams tearing it up over there. The Mets are just a weird team. The Mets are kind of similar to us, but we added a lot more depth than the Mets have, and our pitching has been a lot better. The Mets should be playing a lot better than they are. So it's one of those teams where the NL East isn't horrible. Like, they have 3 good teams, and one of them underperforming like crazy, and then the Marlins and the Nationals, which the Marlins, I don't know what's going to happen with them, and the Nationals still being a few years away from contention.
Yeah, the Nationals are, if you are a Nationals fan, that you're probably like pretty pumped for what we've seen this year. I would say. But yeah. Padres are in a spot where they control their own destiny. Let me actually see this real quick. I don't know where this is going to take me. But I think it's fun to look at this because, we've been talking about this, where this team's at when it loads. But look, Yankees, then the Marlins. Don't be screwing around, right? They need to take care of business against the Marlins. Royals, we talked about the Royals being a good team. Right?
Royals are a sneaky good team.
Yeah.
They took 2 of our pitchers, and they've still been phenomenal on the Royals. And that's really what's helped them.
Yeah. Then you got the Angels, bad team. You got the Diamondbacks that haven't been that great. Wow, Xander Bogarts bobblehead. Then you got the A's, obviously not a good team at all. Mets, just talk about them. Phillies, okay, the Phillies are great. Here's a big one. Here's a big series. Brewers, big series. Nationals, not that great, right? But they're like okay. Red Sox, not that great. They're okay. Yeah, these are like okay teams. Rangers, okay, they've been struggling. We're obviously defending champs, but like they've been struggling, not that great. Up to this point, they could get hot, Diamondbacks.
At this point, we don't know where the Diamondbacks are going to be in July.
Yeah,
Diamondbacks are one of those teams. If they get on a hot streak, they're going to carry it for a while.
Yeah, exactly. The Mariners, it's only a series. You get a little tough matchup right here, but you get a little tough little home stretch right here before the All-Star break. Okay, you got the All-Star break. All right, pretty decent AL teams right here. This is a pretty tough stretch. The Nationals are okay, but these are Guardians, Orioles, Dodgers. Those are all good squads. Do
you think James Wood would get called up by
then? Probably later on, so they get the extra control. But then look at this, dude. Sure. Look at this. Rockies, Pirates, Marlins, Pirates, Rockies. So after you had that little tough stretch, it's like,
see, this is where we need to capitalize.
This is where you need to be in a good spot to like swing a trade or do something to get you over the hump, and then you just go off right here. And you have this huge stretch, and you go. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
You can only have like 6 losses that entire time. I hope if the Padres have more than 6 losses, that is a fail on them. They need to have no more than 6 losses. Because that means you lost one of those series.
Yeah, you shouldn't lose any of these series.
You should win every single one of the series.
And that's the thing, dude. When we look at this, it's like, all right, this is what this team needs to do. And like we talk about, like, oh, you need to beat the bad teams. This is when it's going to come down to it. Because this is the truth, dude. If you're sitting around like 500 right here on this, what is this, August 19th, it's like you're going to be fighting until the end to just barely sneak into the playoffs. But if you go up and you're a few games over 500 and you're doing pretty good, then you're going to be feeling good through this end of the season. And it's not like it's that crazy, because then it's Twins, Mets, Cardinals, Rays. These aren't that crazy of teams. Last month, the Tigers, not very good. The Giants, that's going to probably be a big series. Mariners, Giants again. So you get the Giants right there. And then a little tough stretch with the White Sox sprinkled in there. The end of this right here is a little tough. So you need to be like doing good to avoid a spot like where you're losing this series to the Diamondbacks and not making the playoffs, or you're losing back-to-back series to the Giants and not making the playoffs, you know? So, dude, these little stretches, like the one that they're about to have right here, or is it like this little thing right here, but it's just not that good? The Marlins right here, too. Right? Like that. You got to do good there post-Yankee series and also this Yankee series, but then also August, dude. Look at that. That is a cake schedule right there. That is the easiest stretch you're going to have right there from the 2nd to the 18th. This is the easiest stretch. And you have 2 rest days in there too. So it should be like, yeah.
I think James Wood might get called up soon. I just looked at his numbers. They're ridiculous.
Really?
I would just like you to guess just the slash line.
I'm going to say he has 1,000 OPS because I saw that he was going nuts. I'm going to look it up right now. He's also like 20.
355 average, 465 on base, and a 1061 OPS.
He also has 9 homers and 10 stolen bags too. Dude, he's insane.
So that hopefully Nationals just go, you know what, we're going to save him for next year, and we don't have to face that Abrams and Gore in one rotation. And if they swept us, I would sleep at night. Hey.
Yeah. Also, I see everyone saying that the Rockies just swept us. I get the Rockies swept us, but the Rockies, that's the whole point. They shouldn't be sweeping us. If they're out here sweeping us again and we don't win these games, like then this team doesn't deserve to go to the playoffs. That's the whole point of it. Like they're not a good team. We know that.
That is the whole point is the Padres lose more than 6 games, they have failed their task at winning against below 500 teams and winning against crappy teams. We have mentioned multiple times throughout this entire thing that the whole thing or the whole motto of the Padres is that we're going to be really good against above 500 teams and really bad against below 500 teams, and that needs to change. That's been like we started that off, basically talking about that.
That's been like 3 years of it.
Oh, it's been more than 3 years. Well, the Rockies always kill us, and I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true. Dude,
the Pirates did
rough Rockies series. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Any team guys. Below 500.
Yeah. All right, Chase. Anything else you got? I feel like that's probably it. Yeah.
And no, I'm almost out. There's not much left to talk about.
No, I mean I think it's gonna be a fun series. It'll be cool to see what goes down, but yeah, and it's gonna do it. We'll go live Sunday night. Chase, you're around Sunday night, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to the Diamondbacks Marlins game, so hopefully, be a decent game.
Let's see. I got work on Sunday, but it'll probably be a little bit later. I think the game's on it at 1:00.
Yep.
I'll be off. Yeah, I'll be off like normal time. So yeah. All right, guys. That's gonna do it. Talk to y'all soon. We'll go live probably like 7, 8, 9, somewhere around that time. I'll update it. But we'll go live on Sunday. So we'll talk to y'all then. Have a good one. Go Padres. Hopefully you take 2 or 3 this series. That would be very massive. And that'd put you up in a spot to be like 5+ games over 500 in a couple weeks. If you beat the crappy teams, because that's what you got to do. And that's what they don't do. So that's what we got to see. All right. See y'all later. Have a good one and have a great weekend.